So here we are at Mallory Park, the racing circuit with great history behind it, and I'm pleased to be here to come and see the new BMF offices, and especially one of the riders that's going with us, one of the directors of the British Motorcyclist Federation, Mr. Peter Laidlaw.
Yeah, so the BMF interest in this trip is simply that we want to gather data to prove that small bikes are reliable, they're very, very economical, and we want to suggest to government that small bikes are a viable alternative to their plans in banning bikes in favour of electric bikes.
The point behind this trip actually first came from Pete and I having a bit of a chat about what we could do to do something different, something that catches the imagination, something that is great for charities, but also something that actually has a tangible reason behind it. And Pete and I, well, we had a little chat. Yeah. The idea originally, I said, how about we go down to Africa, go and buy a Mars bar? Pete was like, yeah, that sounds like Dave. Pete then said, actually, forget that. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. So we're not going to ride down and come back on the ferry.
Well, yeah.
We're actually going to ride down and then ride back. And that was kind of it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was the start
that was
of
the
it.
whole thing, really. Yeah.
And then Pete obviously said to me, well, listen, you know, not only do it for charity, but there's some really, really good data that we could use for the BMF to, you know, really try and use to lobby the government with.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Because, I mean, small bikes are a real good alternative, very economical and everything. Everybody's pushing for electric, but that's not always the way. So, you know, small bikes are really economical, we all know that. And why the government should suggest that they're going to ban the sale of small bikes first in 2030 seems nonsensical, but we have to prove something, we have to get data to prove it. So, you know, that's one of the reasons, a very good reason. That's why the BMF are really interested in this.
And I mean, I have to say that I've spoken to a number of riders up and down the country, no matter what size of bikes, even potential riders. And every single question, when I say that 125s are potentially about to be dwindled out, their first question is why? And that's even coming from car drivers. They cannot understand why that would be the first mode of transport that the government are looking at, internal combustion engine mode of transport. I mean, I've just come off the North Coast 500, which, you know, obviously you knew about and which was on the BMF website. And, you know, I did that comfortably, 500 miles in 13 hours.
On a 125?
On a 125, yeah, on a 125. It averaged over 100 miles to the gallon. It was comfortable, it carried all my luggage, no problem. And I just can't understand. There is, in my mind, there is no basis to the government doing what they are intending on doing. So that is your angle, certainly the BMF's angle on this.
The other thing, we like riding long distance anyway.
Yeah, things. And
I met Dave first a long time ago when
30 odd years.
I was taking a group up to the north coast of Scotland, and I've done it regularly. It's a bit of a pilgrimage. I do 1,200 miles in a weekend. But anyway, Dave turned up on a little Honda 90 at the time, with a tent that's not much bigger than a body bag. So that's where we met and made friends and everything, and it was really good. So yeah, we've
the rest is history, really, isn't it? We've kind of ridden together for on and off a lot, and as Pete said, you know, it's I've had the bigger bikes, so I've experienced the exhilaration and everything that goes with it. But for me, it's about actually getting to grips with the country you're in, about absorbing that. And these modern 125s now do the speed limit on A roads, no problem. And in terms of stability on motorways, etc., I've found my 125 to be up there. It's not a problem. These modern ones now are quite surprising as to exactly what they can achieve.
Yeah. We've just been to Herald today, and a fantastic company.
Absolutely.
They're actually supporting us with 3 brand new bikes, which is really, really good. So they're obviously interested because it's a promotional thing for them, of course. We're not there specifically to promote them, but obviously they're going to use us for their own purposes. But also there's other people, Cheshire Mouldings, there's lots of people.
Various companies that have come forward, and I mean, I just can't thank them enough. A lot of these people here are not your massive, conglomerates, etc. These are people who understand the cause, they understand why we're doing it and what we're doing it for, and they're very, very generously donated and supported us in this venture, and I just can't thank them enough.
There's 2 companies there on that sleeve. Altberg do superb boots made in Britain. Chitoro is a chain oiler, automatic chain oiler, very, very simple, and I've used one for many years on this KTM I've got now. I've used one all the time, so it's superb little bit of simple kit.
Which in fact, that stands for turn up, turn on, ride off. And it really is as simple as that. I mean, as you say, Pete, you've used them for a number of years, and they've been absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant.
And then on here we actually have our logo, our clothes person, and she's very kindly donated a full set, a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, and a cap. This one's from Herald, obviously. And she's done that for us for doing this trip. And when we talk about the trip, obviously, there's actually 2 elements. One element is that I'm doing the Boxing the Compass, going on the 6th of May, which is a solo, and that is for a local charity that brings on youngsters up into the England's karate squad. They have to pay for their own. The one that we're doing is this one that's going to Africa and back, leaving on June the 28th. So we're roughly 5,500 miles, approximately 12 countries, some of the highest passes that we can do in the Dolomites, and you name it, all thanks to Pete and his
Pyrenees and Alps and everything. We're including all that, and that's again to prove that these bikes can do it.
Exactly. So we've got a massive blend of road styles, road types, climate, heights and whatnot. So then we're going down, basically we're going to go to Morocco, and then whittle our way back up the east side of Spain and Italy and Austria, Liechtenstein, which is a particular favourite of mine. Pete's come up with a great route. He really has. He's come up with a route that, as he's just said, will prove
it really,
that these things can do it.
Really tests anybody, rider and bike. Route, it's going to be very arduous, and there's a guy coming with us, Simon, who hasn't passed his test yet. So that's another real challenge. He's up for it, that's for sure. And he's a sensible guy. We know he's going to do it. But it's a challenge, and to prove again that these bikes are suitable for people who are new to the game and they can go long distance.
We're sustaining the bikes en route ourselves. Herald have very kindly said that they will give us a quick run through the bikes, just to show anything that's slightly different on their bikes, so that we know how to sort them en route. But we are going without.
One thing that Dave suggested is taking a support vehicle, and I said no, we don't want to do that. We want to make it a proper challenge and just have the bikes, which is exactly what we're doing. So I'm pretty sure there'll be no problems, because Herald are really good bikes, and we've talked to them today, and they've explained everything about them, and they're very confident as well.
Really, I can't thank the BMF enough for the work that they've done with us to date, and that they are going to do with us throughout the duration of this. But also all of the sponsors. As I say, we've got Snowdrop Product, we've got Altberg, Totoro, the fantastic BMF member actually, who's designed this logo for us, for example. obviously we've got JG Media, Mitas Tyres, the BMF, and Payday Limited.
Just finally, perhaps the charity reason we're doing this. There's 3 charities. One is Blood Blacks Cumbria, a very worthwhile charity. The other one is a fairly new charity that started up, Doc Bikes, where doctors go to an emergency on the bikes. It's rather like air ambulance in a way, but just on bikes. And the other one is a children's charity up the northeast, isn't it?
It's the Sick Children's Trust, which actually has 10 houses dotted throughout the UK. So we've got that blend of a northern one, a predominantly southern one, and a UK-based one. The Sick Children's Trust have houses based at the main hospitals that do large children's surgeries. So the one that I've been to recently is up at the RVI in Newcastle for the hearts, and what they basically do is they try to take the strain and the stress off the families. Obviously they're going through enough with the children going through these major surgeries, and they basically just say to the families, you have a room for you and your siblings, you have a room for as long as it takes. And some of those families have been there for a year, and they do not ask for any money. You can give money, but they do not ask, and they try to take as much stress off the families as possible. And as I say, that's UK based, and to me that's just absolutely amazing, and certainly one that I'm hoping that certainly for future I will be staying with as one of my core charities that I'll be following.